Oh my goodness. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Monday, April 22nd. We are a minute late, but we meant to do that because we knew that you guys would complain about it. And it's Monday after a very well-deserved vacation week last week.
Yeah.
And there's lots to talk about, but in particular, we're going to be talking about Pearl Jam tonight. And I'm joined as usual by Dennis and
Hi.
two of our favorite chat people. So we have Autobot Al, who is joining us. Say hi, Al.
Hello.
Hello.
Good
And
to be here.
of course, Mr. Judy Tenuta, who is a kind of, let's go with super fan of Pearl Jam, as we have just found out.
I would
Pearl
say
Jam
so.
savant.
Pearl Jam savant. Yeah. So I have a ton of notes
Hi.
from today.
You have
And
a notebook?
I have
Yeah.
a notebook of thoughts, yes, from Judy. So I think the one thing that we all noticed from today's show is that Howard, well, first off, we all clearly are on the same page with Howard knowing absolutely 0.0 about music. And the fact that the
Yes.
only things he knows about bands like Pearl Jam is the here and now. So he knows the first like two albums, he knows the hits. And he knows this album only, or the CD, because he listened to it for the show. And that's it. So basically, he did an interview where he skipped out on 10, 12 albums worth of material,
Yes.
About
right?
8 albums.
About 8 albums, and went straight to the new one. And that's always going to make for a kind of bad interview. But we are going to get to Pearl Jam, and we're going to talk about that and why the boys are with us tonight and what their interest is in joining us for today's show. But first, let's get to how the show started, and let's just touch on the OJ thing, which, as predicted,
Yes.
as we knew, he would not do a really good eulogy or a summary of what was going on. So let's start the show with how the show started, which was a horrific mashup. Horrific. I mean, I
missed this, thankfully.
Oh, well, let me share it with you, darling.
Jesus.
Because it's just a horrible mashup of shit that just sounds so jumbled and
Mo. They
What
put
the
the
hell's
song
gonna
Go.
mash up
They put
love?
the Pearl Jam song Go with that.
yes, it's horrible.
What is it? What is it? I can't even tell.
Rob Zombie Pearl Jam collab.
It's horrible.
Oh my God! I couldn't tell you what that was if you paid me. That was
Not everything
horrible.
is meant to be a mashup. Really, not
It's
everything.
It's Go from Versus.
Yes, we knew that, but it just sounded so jumbled and ridiculous. And
Yeah.
Mr. Mr. D is asking, Jesus wept. Did anyone listen to that beforehand? No.
No,
They
they didn't.
English saying, Jesus wept.
Jesus wept. I love that. I'm gonna write that down. I really like Jesus wept. We should make shirts that say that.
Jesus wept. And have a picture of Howard
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
On the cross.
Christ pose.
Oh my
Christ
God, that would be amazing. I don't have the Harry Carries on, you stupid idiot, Benjamin. These are not them. Okay. I didn't wear the Harry today.
And I don't have mine on either.
Exactly. So there. All right. So getting into the show, obviously he starts with Pearl Jam and talking about how he's been listening to the new album. But listen to what he says, because everything, he's not the smartest man. So everything he says, there's a reason for it, and just listen to this, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
Matter, which I spent a couple hours of my life listening to over the weekend, because I must have listened
Over the weekend, which means he didn't even start thinking about delving into what he needed to do for this show.
Mo,
Maybe yesterday.
I have to interject, because see, in his mind, his weekend started 10 days ago, because he said that OJ ruined my weekend.
Exactly.
He died the Thursday before, but it ruined his 10-day weekend.
Yes.
So
Which included 2 weekends. There were 2 weekends within that vacation time. But you got to be with me on the fact that you don't think that he probably listened to this album until
No, I mean he may have listened on and off during his weekend, which was 10 days, but that's why he had absolutely no idea of anything.
and of course he heard one song. Let's play it. Hang
Listen
on.
to it. First time I listened to it because they were coming on the show. Second time I listened to it was so I could see, I don't know what, like kind of get some thoughts for the show.
Yeah.
And hey guys, my computer. Oh, there it is. It's back. My computer monitor went out.
Computer issues.
And the third time I listened to it because I fell in love with the album. I believe,
right.
and I'm not saying it because they're coming in.
Yeah,
I'd
why?
say it anyway.
Yeah, sure.
This is the best new music I've heard in the last, I don't know how long. I'm trying to come up with a number, but it's fucking unbelievable. Have you heard the album?
No, Robin didn't hear the album. Nobody let her. You would think that maybe Howard would have sent everybody on the album so that they could listen to it before Pearl Jam came in.
But by the way, Mo, the album came out on Friday. I figured that Howard got it before, but even Robin could have listened to it since Friday if they didn't send it to her,
You know what, though? It doesn't matter because they ignore that Robin exists.
That
So
is
she can
true.
listen to it all she wants.
So
And it's only a 45-minute album too, if that.
really.
It's not long. It's a short album.
So there were some mixed reviews, and let's come back to Pearl Jam after we go through the.
We'll come back to that.
There were some mixed reviews from you guys internally on the website about like who liked it and who didn't like it, and I'd like to have your opinions on it when we get to it. So
Sure.
Okay.
give us a second on that. So then he decides that he's going to show us or let us hear how he has improved on his guitar play. Now, just remember, 2 weeks ago, he was playing like the shittiest one chord type of music, right? And we all heard it. We all goofed on it. And
Yes.
unfortunately, as I'm speaking it out loud, I didn't save something from our previous clips so that you can hear the shit that was. But here he is today, which probably took him the last 10 days. Now he's going to tell you that he just picked up the guitar yesterday to play this for us. But the last 10 days he has been spent cramming this. Here we go.
Got
What
my
have you
guitar.
got? What have you got?
I might play some of their classic tunes with them. I'm a bit of a guitarist myself. Yeah.
That is not Elderly Woman. Behind the counter of his whole town.
He doesn't even know any of the lyrics, which is
He's just
incredible.
strumming.
He's just strumming. He's strumming as
Well, I seem to recognize this. He only knows the first words.
he doesn't even.
So, there he is. Hey, thanks, Brian.
Thanks,
Brian Barrett, 10 US dollar.
Thank you so much. Let me finish this.
Well, you get the idea. I don't want to blow my load. But
I'm very impressed.
She's
I don't want
impressed.
to blow my load until the boys get here. It's just my warm up.
That was good. How long did you sit and fiddle with that?
Again, the last 10 days, 12 days he has spent just to get to that strum portion of the
Before it got that good.
Hardly. Last night I picked up the guitar.
liar, you lying liar.
What an absolute freaking liar.
A liar.
Damn. And it's horrible. I mean, it's literally just an open chord. It's just strumming. It's an open.
Exactly.
There's nothing there.
Exactly. But this is but this led to literally 7 people calling in to say how amazing and how beautiful his strumming was. I mean, literally I can do that and be oh, I'm out of tune. Jesus Christ, am I ever?
7 people from down the hall in the studio.
Well, and you know what's funny though? They couldn't think of new states, so most of them were calling from Florida. It was hilarious.
Yeah, that was weird, right? Everyone.
Well, no, because they just ran out of creative things. Like, oh shit, we'll just go from Florida.
So he's decided, and everybody who has taken a guitar lesson knows that every guitar teacher will say to you that you need to learn chords. And you need to learn how to read music. Everybody, I mean, because that's the way teachers teach. That's what
Mhm.
they do. If you have innate ability to learn how to play the guitar and you just pick it up as a kid and start strumming and figure it out and listen to sounds and whatever, you figure it out.
Right.
But because Howard couldn't do it that way, he is insistent upon the fact that nobody can do it that way because he's not doing it that way. Therefore, it can't be done. So
Well,
here's
remember, I was having this discussion with my daughter. It's actually kind of funny that Howard he's stupid, and
stupid.
the thing is, he thinks that everyone needs a tutor for everything because he's too dumb and has no talent in anything to be able to learn how to do something. Because there are people that naturally can play guitar, and maybe they have one lesson or so, whatever, but they can teach themselves to read music,
They have an
and
ear for music.
right, and they make mistakes and they keep learning by making the mistakes and playing, and they figure it out because they have the natural talent to play the guitar. And he doesn't understand that. He doesn't grasp that talent plays a huge part of playing guitar.
Also, I want to say that Dave Grohl like sees colors like as music notes. Like he was born with that. Like Howard's not born with that. So
Dave
No.
Grohl is a music
it's not
savant.
happening.
I mean, he
Dave
plays
Grohl's like
drum, guitar. I mean, he plays
Dave
all
Grohl's
the
a
instruments.
one-man band. Yeah.
Yeah.
Expect to have a tambourine in his knees. Like that's
It's like either you have it or you don't. You know.
you have it or you don't. That's exactly right.
And
And
Howard does not have it
yeah, so
at all.
here's him arguing about that.
Hey, I mean, I'm no one to give anybody guitar tips.
No, you're
but
not. No, you're not.
Guy like you needs some lessons.
Oh, some guy calls
gotta
in.
go to-
Some idiot calls in to say, you're doing so amazing. And, every time I pick up the guitar, I sound like shit. And what can I do to be a better guitar player? Because who would ask him of all human beings? Seriously, who?
It's literally like asking him like a relationship questions or dating questions or
most-
job questions.
Yes.
He is the least qualified person to answer any of those questions.
Or art or literature or movies.
He is, as we always say, intellectually incurious. He doesn't care about these things. I love that Kate Tate said this today.
Yeah.
Pretending to be learning chess doesn't have the teenage angst bona fides that learning the guitar has. Joke's on him. Like the proverbial girlfriend in Canada, no one has seen him play chess. But he not only shares his preposterous guitar playing with the audience, he basks in the glow of his staff and flying monkeys telling him that he's the second coming of Les Paul. I loved this. I thought that was just brilliance coming out of K-Tate today, right? It was just brilliant, just brilliant.
Yeah.
And true. It's
absolutely 100. That's 112% correct.
we know nothing about his chess playing, but yes, we need to believe.
We have one picture of him playing some
Oh,
athlete.
That football player, right?
Larry Fitzgerald.
Yes,
Yeah, at somebody else's house. Allegedly, they played. They played. I can't imagine that's a very high level game.
Exactly.
Just saying.
All right, so here's the rest of his nobody can play guitar. Let me just rewind it a little bit. Hang on. Okay. 1 second. Sorry, guys.
Hey, I mean, I'm no one to give anybody guitar tips,
you're
but
not.
guy like you needs some lessons. You got to go to a good teacher, and you got to learn to read music. And it's fun. It's fun to learn to read music.
Now, you
Like learning
really
them.
advise learning to read music because we have a lot of
Absolutely.
musicians come in here who cannot read.
They're all
music.
full of shit. They're all
Oh,
lying
really?
to you. They all learned how to read. They all know how. They've all had some sort of lessons. They've had some sort of mentor. And I'm going to yell at Pearl Jam today. I'm going to say, would you
Yeah?
fuckers tell the truth? Where the hell did you learn to play guitar? Listen to those guys play. They don't make one mistake. They're really, they weren't tinkling around,
And look
sitting
at
in their
the
room.
different things they do. They can do all kinds of
Yeah,
things. with the
please.
guitar.
Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing that your entire job, what you do for a living, is play music? That's what you do. So how is it so hard to imagine that somebody knows what they're doing?
No, you're
I know.
joking.
It's amazing to me. It's just
So wait, so somebody that plays music for a living and gets paid for it
Yes.
knows what they're doing when they play music.
yes.
Holy crap. I thanks for that revelation. I am this many days old when I learned that.
Yeah,
great.
8 years old. Exactly.
If anything, I want to say that, rock and rollers, the structure of having a teacher they never liked, so they usually stop their classes after one class and they just learned it on their own because they wanted to break the rules, you know.
Well, that's exactly right. And, listen, it takes time to learn to do it right. I mean, the 10,000 hour thing is absolutely true. It is. The more time you spend at something, the better you're going to get at it. Full stop.
Correct.
So, yeah, a lot of kids, a lot of people I know who know how to play guitar. I don't think any of them have had really like lessons. I can't tell you how many people have come to my home and will pick up my guitar, tune it, and just start playing, and can listen to a song and start playing along with it. Is just an innate ability that he will never have. And this is why even with his art, he had to have somebody teach him how to trace with his charcoal pencils from a photo and a mirror and a light.
And then he had another tutor that taught him how to go into Photoshop and just make it look like a picture.
And then he had another tutor to show him how to play chess and to how to do it right. And he still plays like 12-year-olds and loses.
And you guys know Kurt Cobain grew up on the wrong side of the tracks. He had no teacher, and he became the biggest musician, in the world at a certain point,
Yeah. And Super Trooper, you're exactly right. This guitar stuff is nothing new. He's been playing for years. Yes, he's had teachers and been taught to play guitar many, many times over. Many times over. Why is he pretending that he's just learning?
Because remember, he was doing it with Leslie West. I mean, back like in the early 90s, I remember him trying to play with him. I mean, that's how long this is going on now. It's been like a lifetime. And he still sucks.
Right.
And
do you guys think Fred has even taught him a little bit? Had to have a little.
No, they don't talk.
No?
They don't talk.
No, they don't even talk.
And he'll
Not
never
even
bring
back
up
in the day?
losers. Oh, say again, Autobot?
I was gonna say, not even back in the day, Fred would have taught him some chords.
Fred and him
chords,
really,
they're not
really
friends.
not close. I don't think they ever been close, because I think he weirded Fred out a long time ago when they stayed in a hotel room, and he got naked, and it was that whole weird situation.
All right, you're going down a rabbit hole.
I know, but that's the weird Fred
Sorry,
thing.
guys.
I don't think they're very close.
Yes, you're right. Dizzy Sleepy Beth. Howard had somebody teach him how to grill on the barbecue. Yes, he did.
Tutor.
Benjamin is asking, didn't he play guitar in the Magic Johnson hour? I don't recall that.
He played keyboard because it was the losers.
I thought it was
played
piano.
Wipeout.
They
See,
played Wipeout, and it was with the Will the Fodder.
With Will the
Horrible.
Fodder, yeah.
that's right.
It was
Robin had a
horrible.
coach to have her train for the marathon, which of course we all know she didn't finish. She got on. There's no way she finished that. We've talked about that.
Who, Blobbin or
Robin never finished the marathon.
Oh no, Blobbin took the train, got a bagel, and then she crossed later
Nobody saw her at the 20-mile mark. Nobody.
No.
Then all of a sudden, there she was, right at the end. Okay, so then of course, Robin has to chime in and get her 2 cents in, because Robin has to do everything that her boyfriend, work husband does. So of course she says this.
Hey,
You know what?
Dee Dee,
I was listening to cello music last night,
Oh, that's a shame.
Oh, well, now you're talking
and
about something.
I said, maybe forget piano. Maybe
Cello.
you should take up the cello.
Maybe you'd be good at that. I could see you with the cello.
Was she listening to Yo-Yo Ma or something? Or what?
Probably.
Really?
How do you get the cello next to the jazzy with the bag? I don't
know how that fits. I don't know how that fits in.
Now, did you have the clip though about the fretless bass thing?
That was
All right, so
I didn't. So please.
So he was, because all his research. Remember, he's only as good as his last conversation.
That's right.
So he brought up a fretless cello or fretless bass to her here, because the bassist of Pearl Jam plays a fretless bass. So that was still on his mind, because his IQ is so low, he can't have other thoughts.
Only as good as his last conversation.
Only as good as that last conversation. And it was just the weirdest thing ever to say. It's like, why would she want to? She's talking about cello. Why would she play a fretless stand-up bass? Like, what?
And his questions today during Pearl Jam were so uninspired and so stupid. And I even think that they thought so as well. I think that they started chuckling. I do.
Oh, they were absolutely all of them clown at the end.
Yeah, they clowned him big time.
They really did. I agree.
So bad.
So then another caller calls in, of course, to tell him how amazing he is, which led into the OJ thing. Hold on.
Hello.
Hello.
Howard, first of all, your guitar playing is unbelievable. You went from Rockin' Robin to that. I did not see that coming. You truly are a Renaissance man.
Yeah, no, you're not a Renaissance man.
Can I just say that caller sounds very familiar too?
Oh, she's been on several times. Don't worry.
Yeah.
She's on the, she's down the hall. She's on the other floor in the back.
Yeah.
I love what Renaissance man actually means because I was chuckling as a cultured man of the Renaissance who is knowledgeable, educated, or proficient in a wide range of fields. Yeah, no, that's not him.
So I'm close. I'm much closer to a Renaissance man than he is. No, I know how to cook. I know how to fix cars.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm very learned. I read books. I mean, I know
Yeah.
how to do computer stuff. I guess I'm much more than a guy that can't play guitar and
Yes.
unable to play chess and has to be taught how to grill.
Now, can you imagine what you'd be like if you had like $600 million?
Oh my God, I'd be insufferable.
Think about that. Can you? Yeah, you'd be a beast. I would.
I'd be oh
Bob,
my God, I would literally just have attorneys on call for the tickets I would get driving.
So that woman who called in then wanted to talk about OJ, and it didn't really come across as we would have liked it to. I highly encourage anybody who's listening to tonight's show to go back and listen to our OJ show from last week Wednesday, which will give you a much truer taste of what Howard's eulogy for OJ should have been. Racist, misogynistic, Asiaphobia. I mean, pretty much everything that you can possibly imagine would come out of his mouth was what he was at that time. But that's all been scrubbed now. And the only things we can really talk about is OJ on Twitter, OJ following JD and Howard. And then Ron Goldman's sister came in, and that's what they actually ended.
And the phone call from with the Al Michaels.
Yeah, the Al Michaels call.
And
That's it. And that was cut. And that was edited. It wasn't the full call.
It wasn't the full call. Which, how do you not? It's like OJ is so tied into Howard of the early '90s that it is shocking to me that they wouldn't have made this a bigger thing. They could have said it tomorrow.
Remember, Hollywood Howie can't have that now because he thinks he thinks people forgot what he did 25 years ago. Unfortunately, his worst enemy besides the wind is the internet.
Yeah.
Because it never goes away.
Yeah. We all remember. All remember,
man.
We were happy to share it with the rest of the world last week. So she asked him about OJ. He comes back with a couple of things.
First of all, fucking OJ. The guy ruined my weekend. It was like, by the way, I had a friend who called me and said, I hope you're not.
Listen to this lie.
Not going to be saying some negative stuff about OJ. And I go, of course I'm going to say negative shit about
Listen to Robin calling him out.
OJ.
What friend was that?
They go, well, you don't know this person.
Right.
So
why did they not want you to have
they were like,
things to say?
Because they were under the theory that you don't say negative things about someone who died. You wait a while. And I was like, no, with OJ, it's okay.
But it was perfectly okay when Ben was on his deathbed for you to say what a horrible father he was. And it was okay when you came back from vacation, when Ben had passed away during the summer, to tell us about what a cheap fuck he was, quote, and how he had money. And I can't believe I had to spend all my money on them when he still had money. And so it was okay for you to talk bad about your father. But weirdly enough, somebody who pretty much is resoundingly despised by humankind for atrocious acts that he did. No, he's not somebody that you need to talk bad about. Explain.
I honestly, I think it's all part of his whole Hollywood Howie trying to, where it's a celebrity, even though it's not a celebrity for a good reason, he's still a celebrity.
Of course he is.
And he can't do that. He can't bring himself to do that because he is a pathetic, name-dropping weasel of a human being. That's where it comes from. You can attack his father. His father's not famous, so it doesn't matter to anyone else who he might offend because OJ still had friends. Which is weird, but he did because remember he's a charming MFer. I mean, he's a charming man.
But there's nobody I mean, really, show of hands. There's not a single person here or in the chat or anywhere who wouldn't say, okay, he's still a killer.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's double killer, yeah, but he was a really nice guy.
They might have been paid. He's a great guy. He was like,
Yeah, really, he was a fun guy. But yeah, he was double killer. Oh, he absolutely did it.
jovial. Yes, 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 yes. And so, yes, Jeremy Harrelson, you're actually right. It occurred to me listening today that Robin could make the show so infinitely better if she called Howard out on his bullshit, just like that. And it's true. And it's okay. OJ was framed. Sure.
Oh, sure, Frank. Such a
Yeah.
Who do you guys think? Who could it be if somebody really did call him? Who would possibly still be friends with OJ, and they would also be friends with Howard? Could it be like a Robert Kraft or something?
No, I don't think anybody's really friends with OJ. I think OJ has like paid friends, and I think OJ has like golfing buddies who just kind of, there's a certain segment of the population that likes to bask in the glow of fame, whether it's good fame or bad fame. They like to be in that aura of a person who is seen and is recognized and is known. It just is. And so there are always going to be sycophants and people that, are part of his golf club in Vegas or whatever. We forget that he went to jail for what, 8-9 years? I mean,
yes.
He was in jail and a murderer. And so,
but he went to jail for something else. It wasn't even the murdering. It was armed robbery.
The fact that he had people who would be friends with him, I think is probably not a big crew. I don't think that that's a lot of people.
It's so weird though. Hollywood Howie with his mindset it's pathetic because this is the saddest shock jock I've ever seen in my entire life. Nobody should ever refer to this toothless pansy as a shock jock. He is nothing more than the View on a podcast.
He really is Whoopi without the dreads.
Exactly. And without the edge. At least Whoopi can be edgy because she says some crazy stuff. He doesn't say anything crazy. He says milk toast. He's milk toast.
As they were going on the OJ thing, again, the things he decided to hang his hat on for an OJ eulogy is the fact that the Goldmans then sued in civil court. Mm-hmm. And he wasn't understanding why they sued in civil court, sued somebody who would hide their money. And then Robin, of course, being Robin, comes out with just I don't know what she comes out with, but here it is.
So what is the point of bringing someone to court and suing them for a financial gain if you've been damaged? And then if OJ, one of the most high profile people, can hide all his money, then what's the point?
Well, it wasn't hidden.
What is
he had these plans that were not subject to civil.
Well, then why waste your time? It's
judgments.
Just the system's fucked up.
I don't know how you get that kind of protection, and he must have known he needed not to be able to be sued because he had all of his money in those kind of things.
What?
And now I think the original award was like $33 million.
Right.
And now it's up to $114 million somehow.
What?
I have no idea what the hell she's talking about. I actually worked in finance. I was on the investment side. I have no idea what the hell she's talking about. I really don't. I mean, if it's in a trust, but she's not even like saying. I have no idea what the hell she's saying. And then I don't know how, even with the interest, how does it go from 33 to 114 million? Even with any basic interest, that is triple.
I'm sure what happened there is that they levied fines against him on top of the interest.
Not that much, though. That's
Sure. Are you kidding? Because they know he's not going to pay it, so they're just going to make.
Why levy the fine?
Because they can. Because he showed no willingness to even give them a penny. What they come out with $125? But it's like one payment or something like that.
Exactly.
Ridiculous like this. See, interest on a judgment is very high. It's very high. They want it to be high because they want you to.
But it could be only 18%. Anything above that's usury. It would have to be 18% max.
I don't think so.
By the letter of the law, 18% is a maximum rate. Even if it's 20%, it would double.
How many years ago, Dennis?
Actually, the judgment was what 15 years ago. It would only have doubled.
15
It
years
would only have doubled by now. At most, it would have only doubled.
Let's
But
see.
didn't the
Yeah, go.
I'm sorry. Didn't the Goldman family get like the rights to future stuff, like when he wrote the book and whatnot? And I think didn't they get like rights to residuals from movies and stuff or something like that?
They may have, but I think he put all his money in Florida, B into trusts, C hid it away in real estate. I mean, because you can do that. If you buy real estate in Florida, as many people know, as I know, is it's not beholden to any judgments or any
Correct.
So
I learned that at college. My business professor is like, you own real estate in Florida and go bankrupt. They can't take it. Okay,
civil
great.
suit was 25 years ago. So it's a long time. It's a long
It's a
time.
long time, but
Long time.
Wow.
Long time. Any case, so that was like a part of what they were talking about and how OJ wasn't paying. And then they just went into the things that we just talked about, the classic story, and Ron Goldman's sister coming in. And that was it. That was as far as they went, and said basically, fuck you, OJ, glad you're dead. And it is amazing that he spent months and months and months of talking about this incessantly, nonstop. It was fodder for the show.
In 94, what was it, 94, 95?
Yeah.
It was the majority of the show.
Yeah.
Majority of the show. The
Yeah.
OJ stuff was absolutely just never, ever ending. Just the whole time. It was just OJ this, OJ that, Judge Ito.
And the fact that just gets glazed over is shocking to me. People in the comments are saying OJ had millions in IRA accounts which are untouchable, and then OJ's NFL pension couldn't be touched either.
Mo, what did they spend less time on? Ralph passing away or OJ passing away?
God, it's like that's almost even, because I got to tell you,
Even, yeah.
they didn't spend that much time on Ralph passing away.
Though I don't know, with the whole Beth going and being the cleanser at Ralph's apartment, that I think the Ralph was slightly longer.
I don't want to forget about that, by the way.
It went to the house and cleansed. Yes.
I don't want us to forget about that.
No.
There's been no word about like any kind of, and I know that it's not in anymore to do like funerals and all these things. Like, I've known several people to die in the last couple of years, and none of them have had like a memorial, nothing. I mean, it's just like a thing now. Nobody really even fucking cares anymore.
Yeah, but even so,
But
to go over and be a cleaner
at
the crack of dawn to make sure no one else got there first.
We don't have time to go there.
I know. It's just
plenty to go to. I want to move on, and I want to go to, of course, what has to be mentioned pretty much every time somebody's coming in. You got it. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Susan DePass will earn the Ahmet Ertegun Award. That's the award Gary thinks I should win. Gary, you're behind me getting that award, right? The Ahmet Ertegun Award.
Right, you're behind me.
It's a no-brainer. It is a no-brainer that you could get that award. Your contribution to the history of rock and roll through your interviews is ridiculous. And you should get the award. They've given it so far to Irving Azoff. They give this to Suzanne DePass, who worked at Motown. They give it to Don Cornelius. So in the vein of Don Cornelius, if he brought a lot of history, so did you.
What about Dick Clark? Is he in?
Dick Clark's in because he
I don't know.
Did something. Wow. So before you even start reading that, trying to compare yourself to Don Cornelius, who basically had a music show on national TV introducing acts, rhythm and blues acts or Motown acts to the United States. He's delusional. Everybody knows who Don Cornelius is. Most people don't know who Howard Stern is.
It's a weird thing. I don't even really think I there's no reason for him to get an award. Okay, period.
No.
Full stop.
No.
Let's look at the Ahmet Ertegun Award. Oh, what do you mean that page can't be found? What do you mean?
Can I just say, when he inducted Bon Jovi should have never gotten in. They had one album that was a hit.
Totally.
Soundgarden's not in yet. They had more than one album as a hit.
Alice in Chains is not in.
Yeah, I know.
They're not in yet. And they're the only
mean-
grunge band to have a #1 song.
It's shocking to me, the people that they do. I mean, okay, I know before we came on, we were talking about like bands we've seen more than once, twice, 3 times, 5 times, whatever. The only band I've seen more than like 5 times is Depeche Mode, and they got into the Hall of Fame, and I don't even think that they should have gotten into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because they're not really rock and roll to me. But I understand what their contribution is to music of the 80s that was seminal for me growing up. I get it. I get that. But it's the same reason I don't get where Bon Jovi seminal to anybody's life. They were just like everybody else at that time period. I don't know.
Yes, they look like a bunch of chicks from Jersey. I mean, literally, that's what they look like.
I
Just a bunch of chicks from Jersey.
I kind
They
of
were
feel
just in that. They were just in that whole butt rock scene back then. You know, Poison, all those guys.
totally. Except they have the longevity. I mean, somebody in the comments, was it you today that said that rock and roll bands have like a 20-year lifespan?
Yeah, they have a shelf life, and even Bon Jovi though had a shelf. Actually, their shelf life was shorter, but you don't make relevant music after 20 years because the generation has moved on.
That's right.
And the key is the generation between 15 and 30. That's where when your music is seminal. Once you get out of that range and your fans are older than that, your music is no longer seminal. And that's
and those fans want to just hear that music.
correct.
Just the hits.
And just the hits.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the running joke with Bon Jovi now. It's like they're played as soccer moms now. So
yeah, I mean
that's what they played to back then.
Yeah.
Yes, they're not even soccer moms now. They're soccer grandmoms. I mean,
yeah,
really who they're playing to.
And it's so disturbing to go to concerts and you see soccer grandmas in leather.
Honestly,
it's not pretty.
Honestly, there is nothing sadder than me going to the Cure concert and seeing these frightening women that look exactly like Robert Smith, and I'm not joking, just like overweight with dyed black hair and the liner under the eyes, and it's almost frightening. It's just it's not pretty. It's not pretty.
Are you sure they were women, or there could have been men dressing up like?
I'm pretty. It could. You could be right.
All right. The scariest thing. Wait, this is total aside. The scariest thing I ever saw. I went and saw 38 Special for free. And think about this for a second. It's 38 Special.
For free.
I saw them in the early 90s.
For free.
There was some women there. They had to be in their 60s in leather pants and leather tank tops. There was not enough booze in the place. It was just not. I couldn't.
Yeah.
And by the way, Slippery When Wet is unlistenable now. I can't. It's like, when I was in 4th grade or whatever, it was fine. It's horrible.
Well, Alexander here is saying some bands still get young fans like Nirvana. Yes, you're right. Bands like Nirvana, when a younger generation gets into a genre of music, I get it. Like I get that like a Nirvana would be something that all of a sudden like a 14-year-old or 15-year-old would think is cool. I get that.
But the band doesn't exist anymore. The
Which
lead
is
singer,
fine,
they're very, very dead.
Cool, awesome music. Like for me, like somebody like Jimi Hendrix, who was dead already, right? It's like, wow, really cool music. Didn't listen to it, when I was 4, but obviously when you're 14, it's something that's new to you. When you're 12 or 13, Led Zeppelin was new for me. It was new for me, even though they were a band of like the 60s or whatever. And
actually the band is 70s.
But I don't see 12 or 13-year-olds saying, "Oh my God, mommy, put on You Give Love a Bad Name." Like Bon Jovi's not that kind of band.
No.
Bon Jovi doesn't. Think about.
Well,
some bands are
nowadays.
generational. Yeah, go on.
Go ahead, Judy.
No, I just said some bands are generational and some are not. Yeah.
But see, a lot of times too now, they will hear Bon Jovi if it's in a TikTok video or if they put it on one of their favorite shows now. That's how pop culture is now. Look what happened with the Kate Bush song.
Oh my God, so true. And look who gets nominated into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Kate Bush, who would have never really had 3 songs I've ever heard in my entire life.
She's not even deserving to be a janitor there. I mean, honestly, her music catalog it's actually a disgrace to call it a catalog. It's a music page.
Yeah,
they're kind of trying to be diverse now.
I don't need you to be diverse.
Yeah,
Really,
I want good bands in.
there's
All
plenty
right.
of bands
Yeah.
that aren't in
Well,
there.
like you said, it's rock and roll, and other things are not rock and roll, but they're putting it in anyway.
And I get that it's a generational thing, and I get that some certain music, but country music to some people is meaningful, or Taylor Swift is meaningful. I mean, where does it end? Where does it,
But
and
it's not rock and roll.
there's
But
no
it's not
pop
rock
Hall
and
of Fame.
roll.
There's no pop Hall of Fame, right? So it's
Too bad.
it
They
must,
make one because it's not rock and roll. It's
Can
rock
I,
and roll.
and from back to what you said before, Howard never put on music that I ever heard.
no.
He never was a DJ, so I don't understand what he deserves to be in.
He was never a DJ. This is all new. This is new for 2022, 23, 24.
Right. It was around whenever he did the Bon Jovi thing. It was right after
Why
that.
Why aren't I in here?
He got to be in his bonnet, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on because we got lots of clips to get to with Pearl Jam. So he's going to introduce the band. I want everybody to know, first off, Mr. Judy Tenuta, you need to know that he absolutely wins the award amongst us, that he has, in fact, seen Pearl Jam 30 times. And so, so he has a knowledge and a level of knowledge that is foreign to the rest of us. I've never seen them in concert. Dennis?
Never
We got to
seen
get
him in
you guys
concert.
to a show.
Al?
Never have, but I'm probably going to dip into my savings and just go next month.
Are you? Interesting.
I have to. There's a lot of these bands I got to see. I'm pushing. I'm getting close to 50, and I got to see some
Oh,
of these
geez, you
bands.
poor thing.
I have to tell you, I made a decision a couple of years ago that if I wanted to see somebody, I'm going to go see them. I don't care what the price was. That's the reason I went to see you at the Sphere. I was like, fuck it. You know what? I'll probably never go to the Sphere again. I'd love to. If somebody like amazing is playing there, Fish isn't really my thing. But if there's somebody playing somewhere, like Sting is going to be in Tampa, and but he's playing with like a philharmonic, and I'm like,
it's weird.
That's
It's in a great theater, but it's like,
do I want to see that? Exactly.
No.
So it wasn't really, and Mr. Judy Tenuta and I talk about it all the time. Who's going to be in New York that we want to see? Who is it that's like somebody exciting, that we would love to see that we haven't seen, because we would go together. And it's not really.
We'll find something.
I'm not
just
on the top, you idiots. Yeah, I'll go.
Just to go with Sting too. He also plays a fretless bass, apparently.
Yes, he does, which I found out today. And weirdly enough, he's going to be with Billy Joel in Tampa, playing a concert. Billy Joel, after he does his last concert, which is I think is going to be in July, which is the whole reason that Howard's learning how to play guitar, because he's supposed to be doing something stupid with Jimmy Fallon during the last.
That ought to be horrible. I can't wait.
Which is sometime in the middle of July. But after that, Billy's going like on some sort of tour, and like I know he's playing one or two shows with like Stevie Nicks. He's playing one or two shows with Sting. He's playing shows with different people. I saw him in his concert with Elton John, and I had really great seats. It was an amazing concert. I had never seen Billy Joel before. And again, like Bon Jovi, whom I've also seen in concert because my girlfriend dragged me to the show.
I'm so sorry.
I know.
No.
I had no interest, but you know what? It's like at least I knew the music, so it was okay. And same thing with Billy Joel. It's like, okay, I can sing along, I know it, but you look at these people who have gone to see Billy Joel at Madison Square Garden every time he's been there.
I don't even understand it. His music is not. I mean, it's nice, but I mean, if I saw him once,
I'm good.
That'd be it. I'd be good.
I'm good
because it's not the type of guy I want to keep seeing. It's the same thing.
Yeah, he's going to be here. He's going to be here in Seattle next month, but it's at the baseball stadium, and that is a horrible venue for a concert.
Horrible.
Ooh, yeah.
Horrible for a concert. Although I do love your Seattle baseball stadium. That's my favorite stadium in all of America.
That's it. Yeah, T-Mobile Park. Yeah.
It's beautiful. Really
Mo, did you see Billy and Elton at Giant Stadium?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. And I had second row seats, and it was amazing.
Wow. Braggart.
Well, at the time, the guy I was with was, had a relationship with Billy Joel. And so we were able to get really good seats. It's very
cool. Like Elton played like Uptown Girl, right? And Billy played, one of his songs. Yeah.
Yes. And
that's why that could work. That's why that concert works, because they both play piano. Him with Sting, I can't understand, because I'm like, they're not even. It's like totally different, just totally different ways it's done.
Well, he actually, that Billy Joel thing that was on CBS, he came up on stage, I think, and did some songs with him or something. I don't know. I don't want to get into Billy. Let's move on.
Let's move
So
on.
here's the band intro. No, I was not a Billy Joel groupie, you silly boys. Let's go to the band intro, and then we'll take it from there. Here we go.
I look good that way. Anyway, I'm excited this morning as I've been promoting endlessly that Pearl Jam, the whole band is here. Yes, we've had Ed Vedder on.
Ed. Oh, that was right. That was the other thing.
Oh,
Because
the
John
Ed.
Pine apparently told him that he doesn't like to be called Eddie. He likes to be called Ed. So that's what he starts the song conversation.
You know,
It's so silly.
Ed. Hey, Ed.
Hey, Ed.
First of all, yeah, you know you. Everyone's telling me you like to be called Ed. I always say Eddie. I'm fucked up.
Well, no, you can call me Ed.
Yeah, well, I do call you Ed now. I mean, you never said to me, call me Ed. You never made a declaration about that. But
Don't
anyway.
call me Eddie.
Jesus Christ. So Eddie Vedder was a high and tired. I mean, literally, he had the energy of a wet mop. I mean, seriously, he was just not there.
It was still 420 for him, so.
Oh yeah,
Can I say
it's been
something?
going.
He's recovering.
It's
Yeah.
gone for a few days.
Can I just say something quick? You know, Eddie's pro-feminist. He's for women's rights. He sings about abused women. He's friends with Gloria Steinem. I don't understand why he goes on this show. You know, because
I can tell you why.
And naked in the studio. Yeah.
I can tell you why.
He doesn't listen to the show.
I can tell you why in one easy sentence. They are contractually obligated since they have a station on Sirius XM, and they must go on the Stern Show because they have a station on Sirius XM.
I'll give you
End
one
story.
I bet you they're probably one of the sponsors of the concerts.
Also true.
I bet you they're advertising or they're sponsoring a part of the
So that is why, and they're contractually obligated, and they figure get it out of the way. And
you know what? If they go on anywhere, it's going to be on Howard because they don't know any better. Like they just don't.
No. Remember, Howard has first right of refusal. So,
but they still think that Howard is key. I mean, two of the players, two of the mates, admitted that they listened to the show and that they're, they like piss and fart jokes.
I think that it's Howard from 30 years ago.
Even Eddie has heard what Howard used to do to women in the studio and treat them. I'm sure.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm pretty sure. I'm sure that Eddie was no angel either. I mean, I'm sure they all have their.
Don't ever believe a rock star or anybody famous what they say and what they do. It's two different things. Don't ever confuse that. Just I mean, there have been so many people that have been portrayed as Boy Scouts and they're actually dirtbags. So I put no credence in anything a rock star says, does, or whatever because I don't care. And and Eddie came off as the largest narcissist besides Howard.
Oh,
literally, he loved.
I recorded
he loved having his nuts fluffed.
Oh my god! Absolutely, tickle my balls and yeah, absolutely. So here we are talking about the Clubhouse, which so Mr. Giacchino had written to me after he listened to the show and had some comments about it, which I had the exact same comments, which is why I had recorded this. But we both caught the same thing out of this. So here, let me play this.
Genius composer. So this is our Clubhouse, but you've got Pete Townsend over there and John Waters and Salvador Dali and a few of our inspirations.
Genesis. Well, first of all, I'm going to introduce all the guys in the band, but this place that you're in is called the Clubhouse, and this is in Seattle, right?
Headquarters, yeah. Yep, it's with us here in Seattle.
It has to be because
beautiful.
Every band should have one.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are so successful that what did you do? You bought like a warehouse or something, and now you have your own space.
Do we still rent it? Do we own it?
I think we just finally paid it off.
Okay, sorry. So you've been a band for over 30 years and you're still renting a clubhouse that you just paid off? Like, for real?
I have no see, Eddie doesn't have a clue about I don't think he has a clue about, like, real money like a lot of band people do. They probably bought it and had a loan on it and then paid it off. That's what I'm gathering, but, details are a little loose.
Weird though to me that a successful band wouldn't just buy that whole fucking warehouse. I mean, come on. I don't understand.
Can we find out that information online? I mean, it's really easy to find the address of the
Yeah,
10
because you can
club
just
or
go by
whatever
the
you want.
tax records and whatnot and figure it out from there.
All right, one of you
But
guys.
I almost think they did it just for the interest, because if you did a loan, then you have business interest. So probably the business
Oh yeah,
manager made them take a loan.
Dennis, that somebody said to me, they're like an LLC or something. Like it's not
Correct.
just it's like a
Correct.
company. Yeah,
That looks nice. You make cars I can put in there? That'd be great.
So, so that was his first question. His second question, which is equally bizarre to me, is this.
So let's address the big question. And I ask Brandy Carlisle about this every time. You live on Brandy Carlisle's property, or you're part of that compound she has where like everybody, like her band lives there, and you somehow end up.
Am I the crazy one who literally just heard of Brandy Carlisle when she came on Howard Show? Like I never heard
No,
of
you're
her.
not. No one's heard of this woman before. I have no
That
idea.
she has that
Well, she's big over here in Seattle because that's where she's from. But that's about it.
35 years Pearl Jam's been around, right? This is the first question. I can't.
Yes.
How did that happen? And what the hell is going on?
Well, Brandy, a while ago asked my wife Ashley and I if we wanted to move in next to her and, on her land. And, we don't really live there, but we spend a lot of time there. But yeah, we do have some property right next to her. And
which is so bizarre to me. Like, why? Why? Is that a Seattle thing? Is that like a
What you get out of Seattle? Because Seattle's dangerous.
Oh, Seattle.
But they live outside
Yes,
it,
it
he
is.
said.
Did you see what
Mike
happened?
McCready said they live outside it. Yeah, go on.
It's out in Maple Valley.
Yeah, exactly. It's nice there.
How far out is that? So they live in a log cabin. The singer bought when she was 21 years old, and her bandmate Phil Hainsworth and his wife Tiffany, who is Carlisle's sister, live next door with their 2 children. Nearby, close enough to get there via ATV, according to the artist, are Tim Hainsworth, Phil's twin, and another of Carly's bandmates, his wife and their 2 kids, as well as Carlisle's cello player, Josh Newman, and his wife, Sarah, who is Catherine's sister, and the couple welcomed the baby in November.
This sounds like something you'd see in Arkansas.
It's like a weird commune thing.
I mean, seriously, this is like Mississippi kind of stuff here.
I'm not really understanding what goes on there, but okay. I guess, right?
A lot of pot growing, Mo. Trust me.
Yeah, I have a
Plenty of
feeling
those around out here. Yeah,
I have a feeling there's some fields that have netting over them for some reason.
Yes.
Camouflage.
2 things. No offense. Name one hit she's ever had. I know she sold out Madison Square Garden, but like,
got that one song that is her opus magnus. I mean, seriously,
she attracts lesbians. No offense.
Yeah, they just flock.
And
one song.
Secondly,
yeah,
I told this to Mo like last week. This is the first question was horrible, and back when Howard interviewed Eddie Solo, his first question was, were you friends with Scott Weiland? Like it's always this twice in a row. It's like the stupidest question you could imagine. The first question.
Horrible. All the questions are horrible. Okay, so then he goes on to ask Eddie basically why he doesn't live there. Listen to the way he poses the question. It's really the stupidest thing I ever heard.
And in 30 years ago, but now it's kind of impossible to get around. So
Ed, doesn't that sound
love
romantic? Doesn't that sound great to go like get a place next to Brandy Carlisle and hang with all of them? I mean, what do you make of that? What do you think of that?
To me? Or
no, Ed. What do you make of that? Yeah,
This is
you
the
like that?
First I've heard of it. I've never been invited.
Isn't that romantic?
Isn't that romantic? Romantic.
Your wife to have a place near Brandy Carlisle?
So romantic. And all her cousins and sisters and all the inbreeding
and
all the inbreeding up there. It's Miss Washington.
Trust me, guys. There's nothing romantic about the woods out here.
Again, Howard's wanted Pearl Jam on for 30 years, and this is what he starts talking about.
No, he hasn't. He hasn't. He's wanted him on for the last 5.
No, Dennis. I remember when Cabby and was it Booker got Pearl Jam, and I remember Howard was pissed. Like 96.
Howard has no idea of that music. He had no idea when that music was going on. This is a new thing, wanting these people on. It was after the summit when that guy from that when he put up the Chris Cornell's picture, that guy from the band, and it's like, and then Jeremy spoke.
That's right.
So he has no. It's been maybe 5 years. He's wanted 6 years because it's
I know. This is his new legacy. He wants to be known as
legacy.
The musical interviewer.
Liking the band.
But he did have Eddie Vedder on not that long ago. So
it was only last year. I didn't hear it because it was on in the afternoon, and I refused to listen then.
What do you mean it was on?
It was
on in the afternoon. I didn't listen to it. It was on in the afternoon. I know I didn't listen to it.
He did a separate interview.
Yes, he did. It was in the afternoon. I did not do a mockery thread for it because I'm like, I set it up and I was like, I'm not listening to this. So in the middle of the afternoon, I draw the line.
It was only one interview though, right?
Yeah, but still, it was awful.
All right, let's move on. So then he starts to get into the music questions because now that Howard is learning how to read music, he thinks that he is an expert pretty much in everything that has to do with guitar, obviously. But here's him trying to figure out exactly what this is.
Because I'm going to question Mike. This, I guess you call it a riff, is hypnotic.
So into it. He's a music guy now. Listen to him. He's so into it now. I guess you call it
the answer. The answer is the best part of that whole question. Because his answer was no. That's just the verse.
No, that's a different part. That's a different one.
Oh, because I thought it was that one. I was so bored. I thought that was the same thing.
So here he is pondering questions. I mean, all his questions were just so deep and so moving. So here's another one.
It is. It's dan, 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 and then Ed goes to a certain point where it gives me the chills. Like just writing that open there. It is so good. Would you break down for me, if it wouldn't be too much trouble, because I would like to write a hit song. No offense, Ed. I like hits. In other words, Jeff came up with the bass line first.
This is how the questions went. This is how everything went.
Well, he is the bass player, so he would come up with the bass line.
Yeah, that would be his job.
So, in other words, you mean that if you play the bass line is what you do?
You know what? The drummer came up with all the drum set. It was great. He came up with the beat. It was awesome.
Oh my God.
Moron. 69 IQ on full display.
Frank the Tank, if you think this is painful, it gets so much worse.
It does.
So this was classic. This is Howard talking about, what it's like to be around famous people, because they were a little name-droppy. They were going into like the whole Keith Richards and all these people and hanging out backstage and blah, 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 blah. So Howard, Johnny, that's right. So he asked this question.
Befuddled with big stars like that. So
yeah, I can never figure out. I'm very uncomfortable talking to anybody famous because I'm like, well, do they want to talk about their life? I mean, well, on air it's one thing, but if you and I were talking off the air, I'd be terribly uncomfortable. I'd say, gee, I mean, I would love to talk to Mike about Van Halen, but if I don't know, maybe he'd be like, hey, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. So Howard's telling us that he's uncomfortable to talk to movie stars or big celebrities outside of the radio station because he doesn't know exactly what they'd want.
Meanwhile, he goes to Laser Wolf in Mexico with these people. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And he had dinner in Brooklyn when he was supposedly hiding in his house. He had nothing to talk about, though.
He had a hard time talking to John Hamm and Jennifer Aniston.
Oh, absolutely. He had an incredibly hard time.
Yeah. And what do you think they talk about? I mean, first off, surely Beth, whose IQ maybe maybe borders on borderline retarded.
Oh, it is.
There's got to be nothing that she can possibly talk about other than her
Well,
cat.
no, I got a bunch of kittens. I got it smells like pancakes.
I love that Mike McCready called him out immediately.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So, okay. The hits just keep coming. Here we go.
So what does it mean to be the rhythm guitarist? How do you and Mike work that out ahead of time? Like, do you say, okay, like, how do you know to be the rhythm guitarist? And how does, and do you guys ever trade off leads and stuff? Like, I don't know, like Dickie Betts and Dwayne Allman or something. How do you make that decision in a band?
Luckily, this is kind of what we can do. So those decisions were kind of pre-made almost.
Yeah. I know.
What an idiot. He has absolutely no idea how music works. He has no idea how music works.
Just a quick sidetrack. Did he mention Dickie Betts passing away today?
No, he did not. He did
Okay.
not mention him dying. No. Such a big Allman Brothers fan.
Yeah.
He didn't mention it.
This is like an 8th grader doing an interview for the school paper.
But
Yes. Yes, it is.
The thing is, though, it's like, so how did you decide who's going to be the rhythm guitarist? Well, maybe one guy was better at being a lead guitarist and one guy was better at doing rhythm, and he's really good at it, that's why.
Yeah, that's exactly what.
I think maybe that's how it works out.
Yeah, it's like, Eddie, why don't you play drums? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Moron.
And how'd you decide to be the guitar?
How'd you decide to be the rhythm guitarist? Because he actually explained I'm kind of good at it. I play it almost like a bass or drums. I set the tone, and it's like.
But now at this point, now he's doing round robin, right? So now he's
yes. Oh God.
And now he's going to get to Matt. So Matt's the drummer. So
poor Matt.
To anybody who doesn't know anything about music, you wouldn't realize that Matt was actually the drummer for Soundgarden.
Yes.
Right. So they originally had like another
the Temple of the Dog
guy, and they let him go, and Matt Cameron came on, and he was basically the drummer for Soundgarden until they disbanded.
And Temple of the Dog.
And Temple of the Dog.
Yes, another big band that Howard doesn't know.
Big bands, right? Big bands had big hits, had big but now that we're on Matt, we're gonna go to Matt. Here we go.
Matt, we got to talk to you too, so everybody gets to know everybody.
We got to get to know everybody.
I love the story about you. You loved Kiss too, and at 14, you got to tell the story. At 14, you're in a Kiss band. Can you tell that story?
So he has nothing to really say to Matt, nor does he have anything to ask Matt, because God knows Matt has done nothing other than drum for this one band. The story, I will give him credit, was actually hysterical. So he tells a story about how he was at 14 years old. He was in like a Kiss band, basically. Mm-hmm. So, their moms like made costumes for them, and they put on makeup, and, it was silly and cute. And they just did a little high school band. So, I guess it was Paul Stanley was at something or another, and they go in all their makeup and they're dressed in their costumes, and they had made this little fake like music cover or an album or something. Again, they're 14. So they meet him, and about 4 months or 5 months later, they get a cease and desist letter from the record company for using the likeness of Kiss at 14.
That was totally Gene Simmons. That was Gene Simmons' call.
That's Gene all the way, baby.
Yeah.
It's such litigious twats. Seriously,
I'm going to tell you, we need to protect the Kiss properties. The Kiss properties are worth millions, obviously hundreds of millions, because we just sold them all for $300 million. I just had a Kiss IRA. The Kiss casket was included in that.
Exactly, but sure. Do go on about that, which was a funny and cute story. But how do you pass by other important bands of that time period?
That guy from the lead singer from Soundgarden.
Yeah.
Howard's like, my interviews are definitive, and they're going to be around in 100 years. And I always ask the emotional questions. Like, he didn't ask anything of Matt.
He did not ask anything of Matt.
He could I jump in here, Mo, real quick?
Of course you can.
Yes.
Okay, he missed a good opportunity because he basically has the pillars of the Seattle sound right there with Jeff Ament and Stone Gossard. They were in Green River, Mother Love Bone, Pearl Jam. So many of their constituents are in that sound. He could have gotten so much out of them and just nothing.
So my point of this horrible interview was I brought it to my, of course I was talking to my daughter because I have no one else to talk to. And
Creative.
I was, what?
You're
And I'm trying to
creative.
get her to make my t-shirts. And the thing is, he is such an imbecile that he could have asked about their contemporaries, like you're saying, because the Seattle scene exploded, but everybody was close. It exploded in 89, 90, and it
Right.
was up to like 95, 96 that it was still very big, and it was still a very close-knit thing. And he asked zero about their contemporaries, and their contemporaries are what defined those years. The early 90s were defined by bands that were around them.
Absolutely. And the first things that Mr. Judy Tenuta wrote to me says, no questions about Nirvana, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, Mad Season, Temple of the Dog. No questions about any music album.
Mudhoney, Melvins. Yeah.
Oh, Mudhoney,
Screaming Trees. And there's one band. There's one band out here too named Tad, lead singer Tad Doyle. He gets grossly underlooked, and he's huge over here. Back in the
Stone
day.
and Deaf and previous bands, Green River, Mother Love Bone. Howard asking zero questions to Matt Cameron, drummer, about Soundgarden. I mean, it's insane.
His research was done by two
Yeah.
morons,
I
because it
thought
was
Seven
Dan
the
Hine
writer.
and Gary are the two imbeciles that did this research.
Basic bitches. That's the way it works.
Basic bitch, because you could have asked Matt about Chris Cornell. You really could have asked him about it.
He can't go deep. He can go deep.
It's not even that deep.
A logical question, but he can't. He doesn't know how to like really peel an onion or unhinge like a Russian nesting doll.
No,
like,
he
just
can't.
perfect. He's just that top layer.
Mo, the researchers don't do anything, so they don't even. He doesn't even know what to ask. He's just reading what the questions were written from him. To him.
Well, the other problem is why he's
right?
such a terrible interviewer is that he doesn't listen to the answer and has no follow-up.
Right.
That is literally the key. He has absolutely no reference to do a follow-up question.
Dennis, because Gary's in his ear now that we know.
Well,
yeah, but Gary's a moron. We know Gary's a moron.
Gary is a moron. But
I figured.
Oh,
go ahead.
Go ahead, Al. Sorry.
Yeah.
I figured honestly, the whole interview was basically the prep for the interview was John Hine basically watching the Pearl Jam 20 documentary and giving Howard the cliff notes.
Yes.
And it was barely even that.
And then Howard listened to the album 2 or 3 times, and that's it. That's
and
pretty.
they went to the Wikipedia page.
And they went to the page, or they went to 20 things you didn't know about Pearl Jam.
Yeah, exactly.
Those kinds of things. All right, so then here he is. Because these clips actually need no introduction.
This song, I'm just going to pop a couple of songs on. This song, maybe you know it. It's called Even Flow. Why was it like 100 takes to get this song right in the studio? What was going on that day? And why are you laughing? What happened? What
I
happened?
think I'll take the blame for this one. I think the main problem is that I wrote a song that the two parts kind of want to run at different tempos. So, so the chorus is one tempo and the verse is another, and never shall the twain shall meet. How do you say that again? Yeah.
Stone, explain that to me. Stone, explain that to me. There are two different tempos going. In other words,
there aren't.
It's not. We picked a tempo, but both of those two parts kind of want to run at different tempos, But
explain.
No idea.
What do you mean two parts? What is the
No idea. You're right.
That's the verse.
I understand that, but this is going at a certain time signature?
Yeah.
No.
This is the tempo of this.
Is it
And then the
4/4
chords-
right here?
Yeah, no, but
One,
it's
two.
just even the tempo. I don't know what the beats per minute is, but
Right.
it's sort of anyway.
He has
Wow. He just got frustrated with trying to answer his retarded question.
I love that song, but it's from 1991. He's asking a song from 1991.
Wait, no. But you remember, he's had people in. He's asked them about songs from like 1967.
Yeah,
So
I get
this
it.
is actually
When
a
Paul
new
comes
song
in.
for him to ask about.
Yeah, he's a baby.
It's brutal. And then he's he learned a couple of things in music lingo, and now he's going to use it
He's
like
gonna throw him out there, baby.
comes out there. Is that what's going to happen now? Is that
Oh yeah.
because you can't get like too deep into like their father issues, so you're going to now be totally about the music because you think you know more than they do.
And
Because
he wants to get in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
yeah. So this is what he's going to do. He's going to talk about tempo, the beats. What was the other thing he said today? It was so stupid. Like
I could, yeah. Well, I
pedals.
look.
Do you have to think about
Something
pedals?
of 5.
What was it?
I'm looking.
Line of 5 or something like this. Stupid. It's so stupid. So the boys start talking about how Led Zeppelin. And okay, yeah, just listen.
And we played some pretty great versions of that song in that tour. So
That was
What
the hardest
song?
solo I've ever learned.
What song?
For sure.
Achilles heel.
Yeah. Achilles.
Achilles. I said that's Led Zeppelin. What?
He has no idea what the song is. How do you heard it? He has no idea what album it's on. He knows nothing about it at all.
What
That
a
was the
giant
best.
fan.
Yeah,
He
that
knows
was the best.
nothing. Let's listen again. Let's listen a little bit. Hang on, sorry, I'm going to go rewind it just a little bit.
played some pretty great versions of that song in that tour. So
That was the hardest solo I've ever learned. For sure.
Achilles heel.
Yeah.
Last name,
Okay, Achilles. I said that's
Yeah.
Led Zeppelin. Which album was that from? I don't. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I would imagine that's intense.
No, you don't imagine because you have no idea what they're talking
I
about.
mean,
New Haven.
Go on.
good.
I just want to say I went to one of those shows and they played that song, and I thought you'd find this interesting. They played Chris Cornell sung "Fascination Street" by The Cure, which was cool.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Some presents. Okay.
That was the Temple of the Dog tour, right?
Yeah,
Judy?
it was
Yeah.
dope.
But I mean, how can you even call yourself a Led Zeppelin fan when you don't even know the name of one of the more popular, complicated songs? I mean, that is a 12-minute song that literally it was like one of their bigger later songs. Not to know the name of it is embarrassing.
I think it's my favorite Zeppelin song.
I love that. There's a lot to it.
I'm still amazed by the fact that he is confounded by Hart leaving a Led Zeppelin concert because what was it? The Lemon song? What's it called? Lemon?
Yeah, Lemon song.
The Lemon song.
And he loved telling that story to people, but he in turn loves to tell people that he was at a Led Zeppelin concert at Madison Square Garden, and because they were throwing off M80s, he left because he got scared. And there's no, who would do that? It's like, people throw off shit in stadiums all the time. That's like something they did back in like the 70s and 80s. Like that's what people did. But he got scared and he ran away.
70s mainly. I love Benjamin Stairway to Mastic Shirley.
Yeah.
I was surprised Matt brought that up, the M80 thing. That means he does listen to the show, I guess.
I know. I was surprised too. That's exactly right.
But you know what? I still think he's just taking that story from someone else. That's just being conflated from somewhere else.
No, Dennis, actually, I said this last week, I think, in the comment section. In the early Sirius shows, Howard had some radio guy on, and the guy said, the guy had the actual ticket stub from the guy that Howard went to the concert with. You'd probably have to look on Mark's Friggin' or something, but
okay.
Howard was actually at that show, I believe.
That's amazing.
But then now, if he was working, then that would be one of the later shows. Well, actually, it'd be Madison Square Garden, like 77. Okay.
It's got to be because don't you remember when John Bonham died and then everything was canceled, and so that was pretty much
79.
the end of it for a long time. Did they even regroup after that? I don't
know. They did for Live Aid. The three of them came back together.
That was it, right?
And then Page and Plant went and did some stuff in the 90s.
Right,
No,
but
they reunited for an Atlantic Records like 50th anniversary
Yeah.
party, and then
not for a
Jason
tour,
Bonham's wedding.
but not for a
Yeah.
tour, right? That was it.
Not for a tour, no,
I
That was
just
it.
that show in
Just
London in
one-offs.
2007.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
one-offs. Bunch of one-offs.
I remember kids having tickets to go see. They must have been coming on tour, and I remember like Bonham died, and then of course, as Howard calls him, John Bonzo Bonham, because he can't just call him John Bonham, died, and everybody was like in a depression, like of that age group, the like 19-year-olds and everything were like freaked out that they couldn't
Except for Howard, because he had.
get Howard because he ran.
Well, you know what's so funny is that I actually had a Led Zeppelin wallet. I was and bought it in like 1977. I was like 6, but I liked Led Zeppelin. I liked music my
They had
parents
cool
didn't.
graphics too. They were cool graphics.
Yeah, but I like music that my parents hated, and I remember hearing when he died, and I had the wallet. I'm like, and of course now I can't find it. That sucks. But it was like okay, so
Yeah,
just
Robert
it was just
Plant
weird.
has been offered unheard amounts of money to go back on tour and refuses. Well,
Absolutely, he doesn't need the money. They trust me. They made a lot of money. I mean, seriously, they made a lot of money.
who?
They're not hurting.
Who?
No.
The
Led Zeppelin.
Zeppelin.
They
Zeppelin?
made so much money. They had good management. They owned a 747 at one time.
Yeah, well, they were living large. They were rock stars. They were
Yeah.
rock gods, actually. So let's move on a little bit because Howard has interesting questions about this song, and I love the answer and reply
Jesus
to this.
Christ.
It's ridiculous. Here we go.
Why go? And the reason I love this song so much,
Listen to him. Listen to
I love the premise of the song. You're
What's the
saying,
premise?
and if I have this wrong, tell me, but when things are so shitty at home, why would you go? You knew a guy, he had a fucked up home life, and then he's going home, and you go, why go home? And it's such a great question. Why do we go home? And I mean, not only is it great musically, but the premise is just so awesome. And who is this guy, Ed? Who is the guy who you knew who shouldn't go home?
Well, the first line there, Howard, it says she. So it's
Right.
it's a woman.
It's a woman.
Anybody that's heard that song more than once knows that it's about a girl. It's not about a guy. It's about a girl.
And
He doesn't know.
he's writing poetry about broad subjects. It just Howard is an idiot.
She. The first
line of
the
the song.
second word of the
Idiot.
song is she.
Who is this guy?
Who's this guy? Big she.
So then the funniest of funny things happens. So they're in the middle of having a discussion. They're talking about a song, and then the song stops. And it was like this weird moment where the song stopped, and then all of a sudden you hear Gary kind of like trying to tell Howard something. So you know what he's doing is he's feeding him lines and things to say and stuff like that. But it just, and again, you guys, I'm just wondering if it was taken out of the replay because
I guarantee it was.
well, I'd be interested in knowing. So here, let's listen to this. Let's just listen. This was great.
Wow.
And then when it
So
showed
funny.
up, and I have a really strong visual of the day that it showed up and playing those riffs
Hey.
for the first time, and
Hey.
it was like
Yeah.
one of the great moments.
Oh, sorry. We got some crosstalk coming in. I don't know where that happened. But they interrupted
Gary.
your story. Yeah, that was Gary. Yeah. Sorry, guys.
So Howard at that point gets a little flustered.
Yeah, well, so what would happen is that, that baboon is too stupid he's only been in radio for how long? 40 years. And he, instead of hitting the cue button, he put himself live instead of hitting the cue button so only Howard can hear him.
Yes.
Just absolutely just an amateur. I mean, literally amateur.
Yes. So here's Howard sounding a little bit weirdly flustered at the fact that knowing that, and he's not really sure what may have been said out loud at that point. So he's kind of trying to like just almost over emulate. It was just classic.
They interrupted
Gary.
your story. Yeah, that was Gary. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'll yell at him later about that. He'll be. I'm going to have him committed to a psych facility. By the way, what is that piano behind you? Yeah, was that some sort of organ or piano? What is that?
It's Ed's pump organ. I'm borrowing the stool right now. So.
Oh wow, pump organ. Ed, you can play that thing?
Yeah, it's got pedals. You see, it's a giant harmonica, really.
Wow, you guys are pretty much just great. All right,
You guys,
Wow.
great.
That's great.
Wow, I would have killed for Gary to have asked him a question out loud. Like I would have just killed for
The
that.
next question that came up because
Oh, it would have been
oh,
fucking phenomenal.
I mean that's how much of a moron he is. He can't even have notes in front of him. He has to have somebody talking in his ear telling him what to say to people over Zoom.
Yeah.
I mean, that's embarrassing.
It is. It's but that's why he can get away with it because they are on Zoom. So there is
They're on Zoom.
there's no accountability. There's nobody
No.
watching him reading something or doing something or listening to something if they don't want it to be seen. So it's actually a perfect thing for him to be able to do. It allows him to be lazier than ever if that's possible.
But I feel like for this interview, probably these serious executives actually listened to see if he's moving the needle, selling records, and of course he's not.
They're not. The serious executives can give two shits what's
I
going
don't
on
know.
in
They've
that
had
channel.
a Pearl
They don't
Jam
care.
channel. They've had
They
a
don't
Pearl
care.
Jam channel for over a decade, right?
They don't care.
So what's the difference now?
They don't care. They honestly, Sirius XM is fully owned by Liberty Media. The people that run it are nothing but stooges. Liberty Media, if the first thing goes wrong, will just liquidate the place and don't care. I mean, it's really a play toy. This is a play toy. It means
and they'll still
nothing.
give him money when he renegotiates next year. They'll still give him money. They'll
He's going to get the same salary.
I don't know if he'll get the same, but they'll still throw
He'll
money.
do less work. He'll get the same per hour.
Yes. Okay, so let's move on. Yeah, then this was weird. So at some point, Ed says to him, Howard, you can choose the songs that we play. But know that, we have one or two songs from the new album, and that's what we've practiced. And then anything else you can. And Howard is so beside himself because he wasn't expecting this. So he can't come up with songs because he doesn't
Such a
know
fan.
songs. He doesn't know any songs. So
But he's a fan.
he goes on and on about it because
He was in high school when they came out.
he's going to continue talking about it and talking about them and him being able to choose songs until somebody tells him what songs he should be choosing.
Well, you're giving me a choice of what I can make the set list?
Well, actually, maybe I shouldn't do. Well,
but that takes balls. I'll
we-
make the set list right now. I know what I want to hear.
Well, the only thing we've been working on are new songs. So we'll definitely we would play you one new song.
Okay.
Or what we'd like to, the one that we know will be the new one. And then after that, I think we let Howard pick the list.
Really?
We haven't rehearsed anything old. So then
Totally stalling.
You guys
we'll just see
are
if we can
balls. Now you're the real.
See, he's totally stalling because he's
Yes.
waiting for people to tell him.
In the earpiece. He's waiting for Gary to tell him what song to have. Waiting for
Correct.
Gary to tell him.
Look at you.
We didn't plan this either.
You guys are show-offs. I'm drunk with power right now. How many songs do I get while you're playing the new song too? I'm going to have to give some consideration. How many songs do I get? Be honest with me. How many songs?
I think, Howard, you should be able to choose one song.
One. Just give me a
Well-
different answer. How about two songs I'm able to choose?
And then Robin gets to choose one.
Can we say no to one of them?
Oh, yes.
Right,
no,
you can
Robin.
choose-
Yeah, you can always say no, but I mean that would be an honor if I
like
could,
jurors, we can say no to at least.
On and on, just stalling for time.
I like how
He's-
Eddie
yeah.
says, he brings up Robin, and that plays big later.
Howard's never listened to them. I guarantee it.
Oh, he has no idea. He doesn't know any of their songs. He does not.
So they're prepping to do the first song off the album, which I guess is Dark Matter, right? I don't know. Is it
Scared of fear.
Yeah.
Scared of Fear? Okay. So that's what they're kind of prepping for because that's the song that they want to do. And that's what they're starting with. So, and the worst thing you can do with somebody as boring as Eddie Vedder is allow him to give you the information about why they made that song. And what I'm going to play for you right now is 3.4 minutes.
No, please, dear God, no.
3.4 minutes of him talking about why they're doing that song.
It's a great song.
Please hold.
And Ed, you say, now, is this one of those songs where you just stand there and come up with the lyrics off the top of your head? You've done that in a studio. Or did you have something written down?
Yeah, no, I think I was, sometimes if they're playing and they kind of know what they're playing, or as they're figuring out what they're playing, I might just kind of sing along just to find a spot for the voice, a key that we call or an octave,
Right.
find the lane, and then kind of play around and maybe throw some syllables in there to make it phonetic and use it as a bit of percussion, but it's almost like playing a horn, so you can just play a melody over it without worrying about the words. And then, but the phrasing is important because you're kind of doing this percussion thing or staccato. And then if you get that on tape, then I can run that in the back while they're working on a bass part or they're working on something, and I can kind of kill something phonetically, and then that'll tell me, and then I try to figure out what the song means, what the music is, like what would be the meaning of word, if there were words attached to the sound of this, or the tone of this, or the darkness of this, or the speed of this, then you figure out what the music represents, the story or feeling, like that. And then you, with those two tools, you're kind of phonetic and instrumental vocal, and then the idea of marrying a meaning to those words. Then you create the words, and then you can do that rather quickly if you're in a good space.
That's that on
Eddie,
and on.
Eddie Vedder literally did a 10-second answer in 3.5 minutes because he's a narcissist. He loves hearing his own voice.
Loves it.
And I've after today, I realized that he's not the sharpest tool in the shed.
Early in the interview, he did the same thing. Howard asked him the most basic question, what Better Man's about, and it took him like 10 minutes to get through that one too.
Embarrassing.
And he didn't even tell him what it was really about. He
didn't tell you anything. That's right.
It was really about his mother, but he didn't want to bring up his family.
No, he didn't, which is weird.
So he didn't really bring into the family dynamic, which is what he usually, that's his crutch. That's Howard's crutch. But I guess he didn't get there. So there,
Howard couldn't get it out of him, which is great.
I love that. I love that. So then they're singing and they're doing their thing. And of course, world's oldest teenager.
I don't know what to say, man. This is just phenomenal. You should come in every morning. That was the right one. Mike, you're doing that thing. If I had a band, that's what all those foot pedals. When you're playing guitar, those foot pedals, I want to do that. I want to hit foot pedals.
I'm going to get you a few of them.
What's going on? I mean, when I watch a band, especially you guys, and I really do have to see you live because I love watching you like this. When you're hitting those foot pedals, what's exactly going on?
Can you explain to us what exactly is going on when you hit those
foot pedals?
But by the way, the concert's really loud. Howard's never going to go.
No, he's never going to go. He's never going to see them in person ever.
And Ralph's not here to go with. What, Mo?
I said, unless they invite him to stand at the side of the stage, he's not going anywhere. He's decided he's too big and he's too self-important to go anywhere anymore unless they treat him like the absolute number one that's there.
And plus, Ralph's not there to hang out with him too. So
yeah, they can wear matching blouses.
Exactly, and he definitely doesn't want to go with Gary or Russ Abin or any of those idiots. So yeah, it's not going to happen. None of it's going to happen. All right,
it's never going to happen.
2 more clips, and then we can talk about everything else you guys want to talk about on the back end. So here's a lie, and I had recorded this, and you had written it to me, Mr. Judy Tenuta, and I thought it was
fun. Hey, one last question, because you guys have been very generous with your time, and this has been a mind-blowing morning. I mean, I know you guys don't do a lot of interviews, and I know you don't go on radio shows and play all the time, so I thank this band. I love you guys. I've loved you since back in the 90s when I was playing you on K-Rock Radio, and you burst on the scene, and I was like, what the fuck is this?
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
And by the way, can we all just recall and remember and know that he never played music?
All right, so let me carry this even further because I put this in the mockery thread on RadioGunk.com.
Where?
RadioGunk.com.
Oh, I know them. Yes.
Yeah, that place. Yeah, so not only did he not play any music, but at the time when they came out, K-Rock was a classic rock radio station. They never played grunge when grunge was popular.
That's
ever.
Right.
They became, later on, they became a rock station at the end of the 90s.
He still had, what's his face from Mountain on. He wasn't playing.
Leslie West.
Leslie West.
Leslie West.
Leslie West was on once a month.
And Dee
Yeah.
Schneider.
Dee Snyder.
So he totally bypassed this genre of music.
Oh, absolutely. He just discovered this genre of music 8 years ago.
Maybe more because when
Oh no, when he went at the summit, when he was looking for that lead singer of Soundgarden.
I wish I had that
And
handy.
Jeremy spoke.
And Jeremy
spoke.
Well, maybe when Dave Grohl started coming in, I can't remember that first time. Was that the late
That
90s?
was right after the summit. That was after the summit.
You guys, you talk away over there, and I'm gonna find that damn clip.
That was in like 2014 or something like that. Grohl
I
came
thought
in.
he did Everlong in the late 90s on Howard.
Yeah, when Calling the Shape when Calling the Shape was out back in 97, 98.
Because Bush was on also at the same time. Hey, Bush
And
wasn't
live
bad. Bush
and-
was not bad when they were on the show. They had one good album. One good album. That's all they had.
I was going to say, Mo. Oh,
go on.
Good.
Mo, were you going to hit on the song that Pearl Jam vetoed in playing?
No, talk about that. While
Wait, you didn't play the Robin clip where Robin brought up that
Alive.
you need to play Alive, and everybody ignored her, and they just kept on talking.
But Howard wanted them to play Glorified G, which
Yes.
Pine or Gary got in his ear with that one.
Yes.
And I love that Eddie vetoed it.
Eddie's like, no, I want to play that one.
You know why he vetoed it? Because there's a lot of screaming and growling in it, and probably Eddie's like, it's too early for that.
Oh, it was.
And plus the guys in the background didn't want to probably sing it either.
Nobody wanted to do anything.
He was a little rough this morning.
The songs, I mean, honestly, they sounded like guys that were up way too early and had been partying all weekend. I mean, that's what they sounded like. And then I commented in the listening thread that Sirius's audio does no favors to these musicians because the audio is terrible.
Yeah.
It's so compressed.
What a genius David Bowie.
Hang on.
It's so compressed, it sounds like
How does
crap.
David Bowie find out about it? Well, maybe he'll subscribe to Satellite. I doubt it. There's got to be an organized campaign. David Bowie.
By the way, this is from Bon Jovial's channel, and it's like has his name all over the place. Bon Jovial Production. Bon Jovial.
Oh, Jesus Christ. It reminds me of Beth's the Beth page.
Beth fan page, exactly.
Beth fan page. She
want
takes
all
it
of
for
us.
herself.
Not just Mike. I thought of Mike because I follow him on Facebook and I know he's passionate about this. But any passion can be pursued through our show.
Labyrinth.
Let's come up with a strategy. David Bowie. New record comes out. Wow. My mind started racing. New record out from David Bowie? Who says more positive things about David Bowie than me? David Bowie, if he doesn't, he'll probably go on Letterman or some bullshit show like that where they don't say
Actually have viewers, yes.
David Bowie. I'm on here regularly talking about what a genius David Bowie is. Does David Bowie know it? No.
No.
How does David Bowie find out about it? Well, maybe he'll subscribe to Satellite. I doubt it. There's got to be an organized market, and we never have. It's a closed system. Howard TV, Neil Young on the air. John gave him one plug. National organizations do. We say to them, "What do you need?"
I should know this.
Of the lead singer.
You should notice.
That
Move
guy.
further down.
Here it is. I got it over right here.
Let's get the materials to Natalie and say, "Would you pay?"
The materials to Natalie.
Then what do you
This
need?
is the best, you guys.
Here's what we think we can offer. Eddie Vedder's never done my show. I talk more about Pearl Jam, again, more than Jon Stewart, more than David Letterman, more than Jimmy Kimmel. Eddie Vedder, oh, we can't get him. What do you mean we can't get him? You know Natalie Main, she's a friend of the court. Let's get the materials to Natalie and say, would you pass these on to Eddie personally? Play tape of me on the air talking about Eddie and singing along to Jeremy Spoke.
Yeah, Natalie Means, will you be our courier?
Howard TV. I think the
Show Eddie, the lead singer from Soundgarden, on our show.
video is strong of the lead singer of Soundgarden, that guy when he was on. Those
That guy.
But listen to what a lazy mind he has.
That guy.
He couldn't even take the time to
learn his name.
Google lead singer of Soundgarden. It was harder for him to do that than it was to type out "Show Eddie, the lead singer from Soundgarden" on our show.
guys
Think about
respect
that.
each other.
Someone's got to sit down and think this through. And we're going to be doing that in 2013.
Wow. Okay. See, Jeremy spoke.
Jeremy spoke.
Do you see? Do you see how this works?
I mean, give Madeline Means the packet. Get her the packet, and she'll bring it over.
Exactly.
That packet.
Well, I think I've said this
manila
before.
What?
How much must his staff hate him to get this released? What other celebrity gets their dirty laundry released like this? You know.
You know what? Somebody's got to hate you a lot to do that to you. That's all I can
Trust
say.
me. We have spoken to some Stern people, and they really hate him.
You know, one
There's
day,
a lot of people hating
I know
him.
we've talked about this before, but one day, I promise you all, one day, not too soon, but one day, I will tell the entire story of the Pelican Brief. I will tell you all the story. I will tell you all the people who have lied about it.
I found it.
To have told you that they were part of it, that they knew about it, that they were involved with it, that no one person was who released it. I will share all with you one day, my friends. But no, that none of what you've ever heard about it is true. That is absolutely nothing you know is correct. Like 0.0. That's all I'm going to say on it. Okay.
There's only a few people that know the truth.
There are only a few.
There's only a few of us that know the truth.
Probably about 5 or 6 people who know
Yeah.
about the Pelican Brief.
And it's one of them is not me.
And then two of them sitting right here. So that leaves 3 people. Oh, maybe 4. Okay. So last thing, end of show. Here we go.
You did. That's crazy.
Got some good stories.
All right. And thank you guys. What can I say?
What
Fabulous
a treat.
album.
Thank
What a
you,
treat.
Thank you.
Yeah. You guys are the best. And have a good day. Go get some sleep. Go take a pish. I'm sure you have to urinate. I know I do.
Pish.
One thing we know for sure at this age is that all of us have to go to the bathroom.
Absolutely. And Mike, for God's sakes, invite the rest of the band to your compound and Brandy's
You're all
house.
officially invited right now. So.
Yeah, come on. Everybody wants to get there, and we'll go there and we'll jam. Thank
Robin
you.
too.
All right, guys. Congratulations on a brilliant new album. Fantastic. Bye, guys.
Thanks for listening, Howard.
Bye. Take
Love you
care.
guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye bye.
Now, that was a special morning, even though my hair didn't look good for that interview. But
Very important.
Stop
First thing is
it.
and, let him keep the camera off me. All right, we got to get out of here. It's late, but how
On
often
those
do you
days,
get
you
them?
should be like Ed and wear a hat. That's what
I should have worn a hat. Yeah, I'm fucked up. All right. Anyway, we'll reconvene tomorrow. We'll have a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
And blah 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 blah. Goodbye.
That's it. That's all you got.
God, talk about marginalizing Blobbin. I mean, nobody even acknowledged a word she said. Nothing. Nothing got acknowledged.
And by the way, she was echoing terribly. Like her.
Oh yeah, it's terrible.
She was reverbing like the entire time.
It's almost like she doesn't have headphones on, and she's just talking to. But she's so lazy, she probably doesn't have headphones on, and that's why it's echoing.
Right.
$100 million program.
A couple of other comments from Mr. Judy Tenuta from today. When Howard kept saying that the new song Wreckage was about Trump, Eddie says it's not about Trump. Another part, Mike brought up Craig Gass, and Howard said he thought he was lying about being friends with Craig Gass because Craig said he was friends with him, and now that he's saying it, I guess now I have to believe him. What else, guys?
They are. I can confirm that they are friends.
Oh, thank you.
What's so funny is that Howard is such a horrible narcissist and a terrible host that having Craig Gass on today actually would have been useful because he knows them, and it actually may have been an interesting conversation, being that he hangs out with them and knows them. What a concept that would have been. Imagine that. Imagine that. That would have been actually something interesting.
So sadly, a conversation and a interview that could have been so much more, especially for Pearl Jam fans such as you three.
No, you too. I just kind of like marginally
You like
them.
them.
And after today, I like them even less.
Oh no.
Is it true that they don't really do a lot of interviews?
No, they don't.
No, they don't. They don't.
They don't. They don't.
Okay.
Most of those bands don't. Most of those bands from Seattle really don't like interviews.
And the Pearl Jam community, they usually say everything that Pearl Jam does is epic, and this was not epic, this interview.
So yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you. So what was basically the conversation on the
the Pearl Jam forum thread, message boards? Like, people were excited and it's going to be epic, and Howard's going to get every tidbit from them and interesting stories and things we've never heard before. And then after the interview, it was like, ho hum, it was okay. Wow, he got something. It was like nothing special, blah, blah, blah. You know, oh, here it is.
Yeah, he's focused on McCready now. Let me guess. Ed's still with his hat, right? LOL. Asking Mike to play Eruption. LOL. Couldn't you just listen to that dreamy voice forever? Oh, I love this. This is so cute. Are you a member here, Judy?
No comment.
That would be a definite yes. He's probably a moderator of it.
Yeah, he's a super mod. Super mod.
Super mod.
Ed takes responsibility, saying he couldn't come up with lyrics at the time for Ledbetter.
Some people badmouth him.
They were live chatting about this. Somebody really should record this and make it available for everyone. Yes,
because nobody wants to pay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, you guys can listen to us because I'm pretty sure we gave you exactly what was.
I found out, actually, this is so weird. There's a new promotion from Sirius that I booked a hotel room. And then when I booked the hotel room, I got 3 months free of premium Sirius, the platinum level.
Oh, God.
No credit card, no real information needed. For free.
Yeah.
Free.
Yeah. Every time I bring my car in for service, I get 3 more months free.
I wanted to say real quick, I got more from the Pearl Jam channel on Friday when they basically went track by track and the band members talked about each song.
Al,
I just got more from that than the interview here. You know?
Was Gary on that? They said Gary was on something with the Faithful Forum or something.
That I don't know. I couldn't
Okay.
tell you. But I just remember on the Pearl Jam channel Friday they played every song and each band member had something to say about.
Howard can cringe, but it sounds like they're having fun. LOL. Howard called Achilles' last stand Achilles' heel. How does one record something off of Sirius?
Easy. You go look for it online. Trust me.
Oh, you guys! I really wish I could get to the end of this so I can see how people.
Oh my God! How many pages is this? Oh.
17, more than our list.
Holy Christ!
RadioGunk used to be 17.
Yeah, well,
yeah,
it's hard.
It's hard. Yeah.
First of all, it's a double paywall. Second of all, this is hard to listen to. I mean, I was editing videos while this was on. Honest to God, I was editing videos. I was so bored. I was bored.
And hard to respond to anything.
It's boring. I mean,
yeah,
you can only say something's boring so many times.
They're all talking about the Trump thing. LOL. Ed wearing hat confirmed.
Ed wearing hat confirmed.
This is this. You know what? This is almost as bad as RadioGunk. Jesus Christ! I mean, you know, what do we do? Except this is all Pearl Jam.
The thing.
Yeah, Ed does wear like a Bob Dylan hat these days. So,
well, maybe he's going a little bald.
There's no video yet.
Not yet.
Let me see if there's anything.
It's gonna be on the app sooner or later.
Let's see. No, nothing.
It'll probably be on by the end of the week.
Yeah, they got nothing. All right, so nothing there yet.
How timely? How absolutely untimely.
Anybody takeaways? Anybody want to add anything to the end of this?
I did like in the performance they started off with "Scared to Fear" and then they just went right into the next song. They didn't even let Howard kind of
right, true,
gush over that. They went right into running, which I kind of like. Yeah,
that was cool.
Let me ask you a question: did Howard even know it was 2 songs?
No. No, he didn't. No, honestly, he really didn't. No, he didn't. He never acknowledged.
I
that it
think he was
his
probably
fault.
frustrated.
Yeah.
He was getting ready to gush, but Ed was like, Howard, give me 2 minutes, and then boom. they
Oh,
went
right. He's
into
2 minutes. 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
Interesting. So-
yeah.
I do want to say something. This is going to be really esoteric, but like, us old timers know that the Ramones used to always call up Howard in the 90s, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And
late 80s, 90s. Yeah.
And Pearl Jam fans know that like Eddie was best friends with Johnny Ramone. He was at his deathbed. Eddie used to dress up as the character Pinhead at Ramones shows.
Really?
And half of one of Pearl Jam's albums, the Avocado album's about Johnny. But Howard doesn't know any of this.
No.
Right. I mean, they did mention the Ramones as being like one of their influences.
That would have been a perfect time.
It would have been a perfect time for him.
And Jeff was mentioning Dee Dee. And it would have been the perfect time.
But there's the thing,
Howard
though.
asked,
Howard,
who's your favorite bassist? You're going.
Howard has no context or no knowledge, so there was no follow up with it, and that's why he's a terrible interviewer, awful interviewer.
And he won't go backwards in time and say, "Oh, well, Ramones used to come on my show all the time," which is true, but he doesn't want to say it. So like,
no,
it just ends.
Well, you know why he doesn't want to say it? Because he doesn't have any. He has no memory of it. Like he doesn't have any thoughts about the fact that they were on the show. And Eddie's the
fighting. They would always be fighting.
It was such a great band, and they never even made it to the cover of Rolling Stone. And Howard's like, "Wow, I didn't know that." You're like, he doesn't know. He doesn't.
He knows
really
nothing.
know.
He is a 69 IQ. He is stupid.
And he has no memory retention. So there's nothing.
That's a low IQ.
About
He's
his
a goldfish.
Yeah, he's a goldfish.
Back when we started listening, the Ramones being on the Howard Stern show was a big deal.
Yes, it
that
was.
one of his
And it was
good.
fun.
Yeah, it was. They were fighting with each other all the time. It was really funny.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Sarah. Look, Sarah popping in. I call Eddie Mookie Blaylock in bed.
Oh my.
Sarah, we missed you tonight. Sarah was going to come on and she was going to just kind of pop in, but unfortunately,
Mookie Blaylock was their Pearl Jam's name before the word Pearl Jam.
See, Sarah knew these things.
Howard didn't, though. Howard knew none of
But
this.
Yeah,
he was an NBA player at the time, and then they
Yeah.
had the cease and desist.
Cease and
from
desist,
him.
baby.
Yeah.
From
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 Mookie
Mookie
Blaylock.
Blaylock.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's how the show went today. Incessantly boring questions. No deep dives into Psych 101 because he couldn't apparently. The band being able to play a couple of songs that they wanted to play. Yes.
The other little thing that we kind of didn't talk about, it was not with Pearl Jam, but earlier in the show, there's this show on HBO. Of course, it's with a homosexual comedian that Howard did a full commercial for.
Carmichael?
Carmichael. For Carmichael for 10 minutes. It was a commercial for the show. Unreal. I mean, just a blatant commercial.
It was weird too. Okay.
Strange, even.
called-
Everything about it was weird.
Jared Carmichael reality show is what it's called. I wouldn't even know to watch that, listen to it, care about it. Nothing, honestly, nothing. But apparently he came out as gay, and now everything that he does on like as stand-up comedy specials is very out.
Yes, and Howard seemed to be very, very,
Very
enjoying of the whole thing.
As was what's his face.
Chris Wilding, but Howard seemed more excited about it.
Yeah,
it was just such a weird commercial because it was a 10-minute commercial for the show.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
It was strange, out of nowhere too.
Yeah. All right. Well,
That's what we have, and tomorrow will be the victory lap. And I'm not talking a little victory lap. I'm talking arm out the window doing donuts victory lap.
We might even have 2 days worth of victory lap.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's the rest of this week.
Yeah.
Hour and a half victory lap.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Al, you called it. I will agree with that. Hour and a half pure victory.
Howard now gets Pearl Jam when they're like a dad band and they're all 60. He never got them when they were hot and up and coming.
Nope.
Nope.
That's what he is. He is cold Chinese food that's been sitting behind your couch.
Yeah, he's floor melon. That's
I mean, he is literally that 2-week-old Chinese food that you found. That's what his show is right now.
All right. So, yeah, I think that's all we've got. So, is there anybody upcoming that we
No announcements, no nothing.
the Pearl Jam thing? Pretty
That
much.
was it. There's no announcements. There's been no talk of anything else. He can go on vacation next week for all we know.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
honestly, I mean, he has promoted nothing.
No.
Nothing for the next month. There's been nothing.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, you know, I feel like Howard collects bands like baseball cards. So like who's left? It's like maybe just like Radiohead or something who hasn't been on. Like that's
God,
it.
I hope not.
What single Radiohead song? Are you kidding me?
I hate Radiohead.
Who's got an album coming out next? You know, Google
Yeah,
that, see
whoever old timer
who's
has an
coming out.
album coming out, maybe on
Yeah.
his, maybe
Well,
on.
Like I said before we came on air, that, or maybe we were on air, I don't even remember, but like Billy Joel's going to be with Sting, like in performance.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll have
Sting doesn't want to come on anymore.
How come you think?
I don't know. Something happened because remember, he used to come on his wife all the time.
Talking about tantric sex, it was so weird.
Yes, and then all of a sudden, it's like Sting just basically stopped returning the calls.
Yeah,
because you know Howard would keep going to that. Well, Sting just basically went,
He
"Yeah, I'm done."
also fell out a little bit too. He hasn't really
Judy.
been performing. He hasn't really
Judy, I
been
mean.
doing much of anything.
I hate to say, Billie Eilish is coming out a new album soon. She'll be in.
She's been on once already.
But she
I
didn't
don't
come
know.
in with like the whole Barbie thing. Nobody from Barbie came in. Nobody from Oppenheimer came in. You know, nothing from what was
No actors.
No
There's been no movie promotion at all on this show.
Button with John Cena and his Ricky Stenicki or whatever
Yeah,
shit.
that nobody cares about and it's already gone.
Nobody.
I'm kind of surprised he hasn't had Robert Downey Jr. in with that new show he has on Max that everybody's raving about.
Oh yeah, what is that? What?
I think it's called The Sympathizer.
So yeah, that's interesting. Well, maybe because who knows? I have no.
I don't. It's all very weird, but the movie studios basically don't even bother bringing anybody to him to do a Zoom thing. I mean, look. I mean, The Marvels was a terrible movie, and they didn't even come in to try to save it on
Yeah.
this show. I mean, just absolutely every piece of garbage.
Women in general don't like to come into a show anymore. Like I don't feel like he gets as many women in as he used to. I mean, that care, that are contemporary, that are current.
Because, well, I mean, he's just a creepy old man. I mean, that's kind of the vibe. He is a very creepy old man.
Yes.
And, but there's I guarantee Deadpool, Wolverine, neither one of them will be on the show.
Please.
I guarantee neither one.
Ryan Reynolds never been on, right?
Yeah, he never will go on.
But Hugh Jackman, I think, has been on, right?
I think Hugh Jackman has been on, but it has not been for Marvel. It was for something else. It was for one of the foofy things he did.
Yes, some
The
serious.
Man from Oz or the Boy from Oz.
Something like that. Yeah, something like that.
The Greatest Showman or something.
The Greatest Showman. That's it. Yeah, something real foofy. Yes, it's not Wolverine. And it's just, it's amazing how irrelevant his show is, and it's we're running out of stuff for him to drag up because there aren't that many, boomer stuff left.
When he starts talking about somebody, that it's on his
Yes.
radar. Like, for argument's sake, Jelly Roll.
Yes,
right?
he was talking. I have a feeling Jello
You
Roll.
know that
They've been
that's
trying to get him on.
You know
Yeah.
that that's going to happen.
What's his name from Rush? Because he says he's
Geddy Lee.
He's been reading the biography. Still reading it, by the way. Still listening to it.
Still listening. How slow are you listening to this? I don't think Geddy Lee wrote War and Peace. Okay, I don't think it's 300 pages.
Yeah.
And Geddy Lee probably won't do any interviews at all because he did a whole speaking tour for the book. So he doesn't really need to get it out there,
Yeah, last season when I went to see Depeche in New York, I also went to see Bono, who was also on like a speaking thing, like live at the Beacon Theater, sold out like nights upon
his
nights
book.
for his book. And that's another person I don't think he'll ever get in, ever.
No, absolutely not.
Well, I think didn't the Edge and Bono come in once for like the Spider-Man theater show or something?
Oh, right.
They weren't on that long though, and it wasn't very memorable.
And I feel like they were in for another reason. Like I feel like they were in the studios for another reason.
But, right, Adam Clayton and Larry Mellon Jr. didn't show up. They weren't there.
That's right. Nor did they sing, so there wasn't any of that.
No.
But yeah, I can't think of anybody else as big as that who would try and be in. Well, in any case, we could ponder this all we want, but whatever. It's Monday.
I just want to say one more thing. In the history of Pearl Jam, this interview was nothing, and no one's gonna remember it, and it was crap.
Exactly.
Yeah, I wonder if there was anything said about it today. I don't think so.
No.
Usually,
There was nothing to press release from it at all. I mean, the Buchwald machine had nothing to press release. There was no shockers. There was no deep dive. There was no anything of any interest. This was literally, like this album, completely forgettable. So, oh well.
See,
so
that's the thing. I dig the album though. I like it.
But it's
I
going
don't
to
know,
be
Judy,
forgettable.
do you?
It's
But
a
yeah.
band from 30 years ago releasing something.
it's true. You know, Depeche Mode came out with a new album, and I went to see them, and I really dig the new music, but it's nothing that I would care.
I didn't even know they had a new album out.
Why would you? Right. So the
I mean, I like them. I didn't know they had an album out.
when you go to Pearl Jam and you click on news, pretty much most of the news is Pearl Jam debuts Dark Matter songs on Howard Stern show. It's all the exact same thing, which means they sent out a press release.
That's the press release.
Yeah.
Pearl Jam debuted Dark Matter songs on Howard Stern show. Pearl Jam dig deep and find a new light on Dark Matter. And here in Variety from 12 hours ago, Pearl Jam's Eddie Vedder says new song Wreckage is about Donald Trump. He's desperate and out to victim. But he said on the Stern show that it wasn't.
Remember, that's Variety. This is literally like USA Today of entertainment. This is not real reporting. This is garbage.
Yeah.
Eddie would be
I know this
pissed
from my
about
other
that.
pop culture sites.
Eddie would be pissed about that. He said literally it's not. And the lyrics, it doesn't have
doesn't.
anything to do with it.
It doesn't suit him.
It's amazing, but Variety is garbage. But I think they're the same owner as Rolling Stone. It's just, so yeah, there's not a lot of different owners.
So yeah, I guess they are talking a little bit since the
Not
new
a lot. I mean, come on, it's
not a lot.
not a lot. I mean, that's nothing. No.
No. All right. Well, that's it for us tonight, my friends. We thank you so much for being with us. Now, as you may or may not know, Dennis had a AMA on Friday.
Oh yes, I
DJ's
did.
Classic Garage because he hit 500 subscribers, which we're thrilled for him for. What else you got going on there, Dennis?
So I'm re-uploading the AMA Garage Talk with some extra content in it. That's coming out. I just did a thing on how to fix your radiator at home, really cheap. But the coolest thing that's going on is on Saturday, I went over to this guy's house. He's in a wheelchair, but he owns like 17.
Cassie?
What?
Yeah.
Did you fix
I was gonna say, did you soup up the wheelchair?
Take it to wheel.
We've talked about putting wheelie bars on it, but no. He owns like 14 Hemi cars and 2 other high performance Mopars. He can't drive any of them, and they're all stick shifts. And we went over and cleaned one of his cars, and I actually did an interview with him on one car that we're cleaned for him for his picnic car show that we're going to next week, which I'm going to have a bunch of stuff on.
Awesome.
So that's going to be a lot of fun. I've been getting my car ready for it, and it's a little picnic at his house. It's going to have 125 to 130 cars.
Wow.
At his house.
So he gives new meaning to like 4 on the floor, right?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, he'll joke about it all day long.
Straight to hell.
Yeah.
Awesome. That'll be fun.
Yeah, so that's been what's going on. So I'm gonna have my interview with him. I'll probably release Tuesday or Wednesday, and then I'll have a bunch of stuff from this show because Mopar 5150 is going to be there. There's guys from California, and 5150, we all know what that means. They're crazy, and they are. And so I'm gonna be talking to them because I met them at Meekum, and it's gonna be wild, absolutely wild. And I'm gonna have the entire burnouts. It's gonna be a video.
Awesome.
Yes, we're gonna have a complete burnout video. So.
Cool. So
Birthday.
check out Dennis over at DJ's Classic Garage when you can. Drew Show, it's wonderful to see you.
Pearl necklace.
Terribly. I wish you'd be around more often. So yeah. Guys, have a great night. Thank you so much, Autobot Al, for coming on. We love having you in the chat. And Mr.
Thanks,
J. We appreciate you always being in and adding a different a different take to.
And thanks Autobot for subscribing to my channel. And thanks,
You got it.
Judy, for subscribing to my channel.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
very much.
Thank
I hope
you.
to provide
Everybody
you some,
subscribe.
You're welcome.
provide you
Love
some
you all.
entertainment. That's all I really
Yes.
want to do is entertainment
Yeah.
and education.
I just want to say thanks, Mo and Dennis and Judy. This was a lot of fun. Hope I can come back sometime. And
Absolutely.
hi to everybody in the chat. And apparently, I think it was Frank the Tank that says, apparently I sound like Penn Jillette. I don't hear it, but
I hear that.
I don't hear it, but apparently I do. But this was a good time.
Always going to be a few. All right, guys. Have a great night. We love you all, and we will see you anon. Hey guys, thanks for hanging with us tonight. Please join us for any further discussion at RadioGunk.com in the forum section. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at RadioGunk. And don't forget to like this and subscribe to us and hit that little bell so you know when we're doing a new show. Thanks.